In this video, we are going to go through a strategic exploration on the decision-making process behind playing your air hands in poker. Throughout this video, we'll delve into the pivotal factors that influence your choices, focusing predominantly on turn and river plays, with a touch of insight into flop strategies. Most players consciously or subconsciously play their air hands very robotically. On turns, they never bluff air, and on rivers, they always bluff air when checked to. Most players tend to navigate their air hands in a rather predictable manner. They avoid bluffing with air on turns and unconditionally bluff with air when facing a check on rivers. However, this video aims to dissect the optimal strategies for playing air hands across various lines and positions. First, let's clarify what we mean by air hands in Hold'em. An air hand signifies a complete miss on the board, presenting seemingly low equity of the pot. Now, one might wonder, where does the expected value or EV of an air hand come from? If an air hand seemingly holds no value, how can it possibly be profitable? Why are we exploring this video at all? The common belief is that betting air derives its EV from inducing opponents to fold, but it goes deeper than that. The true EV of betting air emerges when opponents fold more frequently than the minimum defense frequency suggests. Imagine a scenario where an opponent calls 95% of the time against your pot-sized bet. It's evident that betting your air becomes unprofitable. This is where range bets come into play. Take, for instance, a situation like small blind versus button 3-bet pots. Many players might opt to range bet on a board like King 10 Queen Rainbow. Many players would rationalize this by saying something along the lines of, "This board is a range bet because it's really good for our range, so we need to balance our good hands with bad hands." And while this is true, there's a deeper driving factor behind the range bet. Solvers don't purposely balance. Balance is simply a result of all hands doing what is highest EV for that specific hand. Even seemingly weak hands like 6-7 suited can bet on such a board, not for the sake of balance, but due to the opponent's tendency to overfold compared to the minimum defense frequency. On this board versus a 20% range bet, the button folds 31% of the time. Minimum defense frequency would dictate the villain should fold only about 16.6%, which is about 5-to-1 pot odds. This is a massive fold of minimum defense frequency by over 14%, which is why even 6-7 suited and 7-8 suited without the backdoor flush draw has 3.64 big blinds of EV. Understanding this concept holds immense significance. While range betting on specific flops might seem inconsequential, comprehending these principles empowers your decision-making on turns and rivers. Often, betting air can be exceptionally high EV in these later streets, presenting a missed opportunity for many mid-stakes players. Next, let's delve deeper into a single raise pot scenario to illustrate how this understanding can significantly enhance your turn and river plays. In this scenario, it is a button versus big blind single raise pot on King 9-2 two-tone. To prove this point, we'll ignore the flop strategy. Basically, a lot of the options with air hands are quite indifferent in terms of EV, but watch closely as the turn and river demonstrate the strategy's true potential. On the flop, the main air hands that we are betting are queen highs like Queen 4, Queen 5, Queen 6, Jack 5, Jack 6, Jack 7, including some of the middling cards like 8-6, 8-7 suited with no backdoor flush draws available. On the turn, notice the shift in the EV of betting those same air hands. Even seemingly weaker hands like 8-6 suited, Queen 4, Queen 5, and Queen 6, and Jack 5, Jack 6, Jack 7, the cards in between with no flush draws, find opportunities to bet and steal the pot, primarily taking advantage that our opponent will not call us enough. So the next time you witness an audacious bluff seemingly arising from thin air, remember, there may be a method rooted in sound game theory guiding those decisions. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the intricate world of air hand strategies in poker. And until next time, keep strategizing wisely.